Hello, today we're looking at the TETRA Whisper IQ. This is a hang on the back filter and it's one of the most popular products for aquariums on Amazon America. I thought that means it must be excellent and it made me want to have a look at it. Looking on this side here, you can see the basic shape of it. We've got our intake, we've got some filter media, and we've got a little waterfall where it flows back. We can control the flow. It has apparently a low decibel rating, which might make this excellent for your bedroom or quiet place. Self-priming, which I know priming these things can be a problem. We've got an adjustable intake, which basically means it's telescopic. A bioscrubber, which is the biological filtration, and a smart path spillway. Wow, they fit in a lot of keywords into this product. At the back we've got some other TETRA things that you might be interested in, and of course on the other side the filter media and what it does. So I think we should just get cracking and open the box straight away. I haven't opened this yet, it's been sitting on my shelf for a good while. Inside we have our instructions. You can see that there are actually a few different sizes of this filter. This model is the IQ20, which suggests that the IQ60 is absolutely huge because this thing is actually massive. Now, as a Brit, I'm not quite used to using hang on the back filters because a lot of the time in this country we tend to use internal or external filters. So this is relatively new to me, but we'll take a look. A little bit of cardboard here saying there's a sound shield technology, get peace with your power. I guess it's just saying that it's low decibels, right? And of course, because I ordered it from America, I have got a 2-pin plug, which is okay because I do have an adapter which I can use to power this device. So initially on the aesthetics, it is pretty devoid of anything that brings me joy. I think this just reminds me of somebody's car bumper, but it is there to do a thing, isn't it? It's for a purpose. You can see I've already tested the material. It is cheap, nasty plastic. However, this is a cheap item. It wasn't that expensive, so you can see basically they're cutting costs on the quality of plastic. It's it's quite flexible, but it's going to be doing the job, I guess. It's not going to degrade or break. It should be droppable as well. I would have thought it won't crack should you do that. Looking on the inside, we have our media, which is the bio bag with Stay Clean technology. We've got our little drawers here as well, and on this side we have our flow adjuster. Easily done. It is a bit stiff. I can imagine as this unit gets a bit older and you get a bit of build up on the inside of here, this might be a bit stiff to move, but I guess once you've set it, you're not going to change it. One thing that does impress me on the inside of the lid here, we've got some instructions about the media that's involved. So you replace the large cartridge monthly, you never replace the biogrid. I guess that's the biogrid. This is the biological filtration then. So it just involves having bacteria, create a biofilm on this. And apparently that's enough biomedia to filter 20 gallons of aquarium. The thing I do like though, is it does have this code for the impeller, because the impellers are the most likely thing to break on these filters. They're the most critical thing. They do clog, they do break, and this is the item number should you need a new one, which is really good. I fully support having this easily available, especially on the inside of the lid. That's just great. It makes your life a lot easier if you do need one of those. Moving on into the filter, we've already looked at this, which I think is, pretty pathetic in terms of biological filtration. We have our Whisper Bio Bag with Stay Clean technology, large. So this is the thing that you replace monthly. It's wrapped in plastic, which is a shame, I think. It probably doesn't need to be wrapped in plastic. In a world where we're trying to get rid of plastics, they're wrapping plastic in plastic, but, let's have a look. So in here, we have a fine floss. On the inside of that fine floss is some carbon. And on the inside of the carbon is a Stay Clean TM tablet. Again, you can see how much plastic is involved in this item. We've got a tablet wrapped in plastic. So I have no idea what's in this Stay Clean tablet. It's probably an algaecide. That's generally what's inside of there, and that's probably just to stop you getting hair algae and bits and pieces on there. It could be something similar to what you put into a pond to remove hair algae, but I don't know. Who knows what it is? So that actually creates a bit of an issue, because as we don't know what's in that tablet, we don't know if this filter is safe for shrimp or other invertebrates. It might not be. We don't also know if you use this filter, can you grow plants? Because if it's removing nutrients from the water, for instance, your plants are probably going to suffer using this item. So I have no idea. But anyway, there's a tablet in there, there's carbon in there, you've got your fine filtration. This is wholly removable, wholly replaceable, and it suggests once a month, which is a shame. And it's one of the drawbacks, I think, of these cartridge-based filters, because this just goes in the bin, it goes into landfill. I doubt this can be recycled, and you know, you're going to get through 12 of these a year. Scale that up to the amount of people that buy these, you know, it's a real shame. I don't want to be preachy, but for an industry which is supposed to be like fish, you know, let's protect the fish and natural environment that fish live in, producing this kind of thing is some sort of war crime, in my opinion. But anyway, let's put it back together. So this is the media installed. It is quite easy to do. There's little grooves down there which you just slide your media into, so friendly for the user, easy to assemble. There wasn't any issues with that. Inside of there was my telescopic strainers. To access the impeller, I'm assuming it's here. It says pry to open. So let's have a little pry and see what we can see in here. Oh, that came off rather well. And as expected, yes, we have our impeller. It's a very simple impeller, as they typically are on these cheaper, sort of smaller machines. The impeller shaft is fixed, I assume stainless steel to prevent rust, and that just goes in, nice and simple. Nice and easy to access, which is important when you want to maintain it, or of course replace it. Helps to put it on the right way, and then that just snaps back in. In terms of the intake shaft, as you can see, it is telescopic, nice smooth action, and then that will just go on there. One thing I would say is it is designed really well for the user, because it's got arrows and instructions all over this to tell you exactly how to do it. Even the minimum water line, you know, it's very impressive. A lot of filters and companies won't have this, and that's one of the major causes of confusion with the consumer, is they have no idea how these things work. Having arrows is very useful. And then again, my strainer goes on the bottom there. If you wanted to, you could just put the strainer straight there. So this gives you the ability to put it up to a different depth, which is great. Okay, so I've set her up. I've got her converted over to the UK plug system, and we can see this thing is huge. Now this tank's a 4-foot tank, and this is designed to go on 20 gallons, so like what, 90 litres, 80 litres? So smaller than a 125. I just think the profile of this is massive, isn't it? But I don't know. For some reason in Europe we tend to use more, especially in the UK anyway, we tend to use more internal filters or external filters. The hang on the back filters like this are a little bit rarer over here, which is why I had to order it from USA Amazon. But obviously, let's see how it performs. It does say it's an auto priming device, which is nice. Sometimes with these types of filters, it can be a little bit tricky to prime. But if I just turn it on, it should start to do something. It does say, don't pre-fill it, don't do anything. I can hear some water. Oh, we've got water. There we go. It took a while. There's obviously still a bit of air in the impeller, because it is rattling like an absolute... Now there's obviously something wrong with the impeller here, because it's making a lot of noise, isn't it? So it turns out that the one I bought is actually missing the little rubber dampener that should be on the end of this impeller. Now you saw me open it, and it was definitely not installed when I opened the impeller up. I've also thoroughly checked inside this box, and it's not in there either. which is a real shame because now the impeller is free to actually bounce around inside of that impeller shaft. So fortunately I have a big box of filters and bits and pieces, and I found this little rubber doodad off another filter. I'll install it onto here and we'll see if that solves the problem. So as you can see, it does fit. However, this may just fall off as soon as I start this filter up. I'll reinstall it all together and we'll see how we do. Okay, take two. So it is still quite noisy. No, it's very noisy. You can hear that impeller just rattling around in there, which is a shame because this is supposed to be a whisper quiet filter, and in fact it is the absolute opposite of a whisper quiet filter. Now I guess if I had that part, that loud rattling noise wouldn't be present, but I don't, and I don't live in the USA, so returning this for a new one or getting the part is probably going to be too annoying to even try. So I took the lid off to see what was making the noise, and obviously we can hear the water, and then there's a loud vibration noise which is the impeller moving around because we don't have the rubber tip. So pretend the rubber tip's present and that vibration noise that you can hear now doesn't exist. There's still another noise which you can hear, and that is actually this moving. Don't know if you can see it, but it's vibrating, right? If I hold it, the noise kind of goes away. Yeah? And it's made worse when you put the lid on. It's on as tight as it will go. And that vibration noise is now in like an echo chamber with this lid on. So I don't understand how this is a quiet filter. I might be wrong, might have installed this completely wrong, but yeah. I think if this was in my bedroom, it'd be getting thrown out of the window. It's a shame though, because it does have a nice output. You can see the flow rate is actually really nice. I wouldn't say that this could filter 20 gallons though. I think that's a bit too much. With the media that's involved in there, you know, maybe if you've got a 20-gallon tank, you're only going to have maybe 1 or 2 fish in there, because this is not going to give you that amount of filtration. It's a shame about the media as well. I'm not a fan of having to replace cartridges. I'd rather have sponges and a bit more of a long-term filtration that you don't have to throw in landfill every month. And obviously the profile of it is pretty ugly. So for me, this is absolute fail. Absolute fail.